much more faith do you have in Daredevil Born Again now that Foggy and Karen appear to be on board for the project? So it was reported over the last couple of days that in the rewrites and the reworking of Daredevil Born Again, Foggy and Karen will be in the show. And this is something that was extremely alarming to me about the initial version of this show. That they're like, we're going to bring Punisher and John Bernthal's coming back. We're doing this. Charlie Cox. What about Foggy and Karen? No, they're not coming back. And they're like on the internet, like, we'd love to come back. If they send me a script, I will say, yes, I love that character. I'd love to come back. They just didn't include them. And that to me was one of the immediate red flags. As soon as Karen and Foggy weren't going to be involved, and it wasn't because of them. It wasn't because of unwillingness or busyness. Was it Deborah? I think she said she's had very few roles, so she's even kind of desperate to have it. It's not that. They would do it. The writers just didn't want them. That to me was like, why are we doing this? Why are these people writing the show if they don't understand Karen and Foggy are pivotal to the show? What are we doing? Why did you bring Charlie Cox back if we're not actually doing this? And so like that was extraordinarily alarming to me. And like that was probably to me, besides seeing the names that they hired being like, I don't think these are the right people to do this show. But outside of that, as for actual things we learned about plot points, that had me extremely worried. So them bringing them back on board, how much more faith do I have? I have more faith that they're heading in the right direction. I have more faith that the current writers understand what the audience wants. Because I think that's what was so crazy about it to me is like, if you understand that we want Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, but don't understand that. I wrote in my notes, I don't know if I've made a video on this, but for a little while there, it felt like they were essentially just fan casting the cast of Marvel Netflix onto this new show. And what I mean by that is fan casting is when we just cast someone based off what they look like, but not based on the actual characterization in the script, because we don't know what the script is. So we're like, Bryan Cranston looks like Lex Luthor. He'd be a great Lex Luthor, though we don't know what the script is. That's fan casting. And that's what it felt like they were doing with Charlie Cox, putting him on this Daredevil show, where you're casting him because the fans want that he's our fan cast for it, but you're doing a totally different script where he doesn't fit. You don't understand what we actually want, which is a continuation of what he was in before. It's not magic that it's Charlie Cox. We're not interested in you taking Charlie Cox, doing a totally different characterization, tossing out our beloved characters and doing something different. Nobody wants that. You're stealing trust, not just borrowing trust. You're stealing trust when you do that crap. This feels like they're going, no, if we're bringing Charlie Cox back, let's honor what came before. And it wasn't just Charlie Cox, it was a cast of characters around him. It doesn't need to be Daredevil season 4. It can be an evolution. It can be a new thing. I get it doesn't need to be exactly the same, but it needs to at least understand what we liked to evolve from it and not just be bringing in some moron writer that seems like they never even watched the old show and just do something wacky and different with it. Like, that is so disrespectful to the audience. It's so cheap to take advantage of me. And people like me, they're so upset when Daredevil was canceled, to bring Charlie Cox back, but not even bring back these pivotal side characters. The show is built around the relationship. Like, you care about it because you care about the characters and they're so pivotal to Matt Murdock. No, they weren't even in the show. But how much more faith do I have? Well, I don't know. If they're actually rewriting and reshooting the entire thing, sure. what are we like? Is this like a Frankenstein? What are we doing here? What is this? Like this? I mean, it's just a mess. Like if you shoot for months and then you go, crap, we shot 4 episodes, they suck. Or we shot 8 episodes and we don't even have Daredevil in the first 4, whatever nightmare it was came from those reports. And so you like gotta undo the whole thing. And you're trying to salvage as much as you can. I don't know how good that can even possibly be. Coming up in just a few weeks, I'm heading off to Orlando, Florida for Megacon with a bunch of my YouTube friends. We're going to be doing panels across all 4 days of Megacon. We're doing meet and greets. If you're anywhere in Florida, the United States, planet Earth, the Milky Way galaxy, or the multiverse, you want to be at Megacon, it's going to be a blast. Details are down below in the description.